Another day, another dramatic declaration from our resident rotisserie of recycled resolutions. Today's episode, this is a huge change. How quaint. A new pill, a new promise, and of course, a new excuse marinated in performative vulnerability. Amberlynn is allegedly beginning SSRIs, and we are allegedly meant to care. But let us not be fooled by the tears and the trembling voice of a woman who googled mental health 10 minutes before filming. We've seen this play before. Act 1, melodrama. Act 2, the binge. Act 3, forgotten entirely, replaced by mukbangs and melancholia by Friday. So, grab your patience, because it's time to cook with chaos, cry with convenience, and medicate with the consistency of a coin toss. Amberlynn once again has awakened drenched in tears. What is this, the second video in a row where she tells us she's been crying but doesn't tell us why? She tells us that her eyes are swollen. Yeah, that's the consequence of weeping into your own self-delusion. The entire opening feels like someone trying to get out of gym class using a forged note. And then behold the doctor's appointment saga. She's been furiously texting accept to snag that last-minute appointment, as though that in itself is a character arc. She says this appointment went from Zep-bound excitement to D-dimer dread. It would be a compelling plot twist if we hadn't seen a flirt with medical crises before. She drops words like collapsed lung and blood clot the way other girls drop skincare routines. And yet not once does the word accountability make a cameo. The thought that this endless carousel of ailments might be connected to, I don't know, her refusal to address the literal elephant in the room? No, that epiphany remains locked in the vault of selective reasoning. And I have to ask, how many dramatic medical cliffhangers have we weathered now? And how many of them have led to actual change for the better? None. Because the only thing she sticks to longer than sodium is denial. And of course, she's fasting. Not for health, mind you, but so she can chase another diagnosis like it's a Pokemon. She's not searching for answers, she's hunting for justification. She's looking for a new label to wear like a brooch, deflecting blame while garnishing views. We get a brief look at a vet visit, which conveniently begins and ends within seconds. It's curious, isn't it? No real footage, no details, just the declaration. I'm at the vet. That's it. It's transparent, it's calculated, and it's insulting. The only reason Twinkie's getting screen time at all is because her audience pointed out how little care that dog has been receiving. This isn't about compassion. It's damage control. It's performative. Look at me, I'm a responsible pet owner. Then comes her emotional montage. Stress, anxiety, depression, and of course, suffering in silence. Darling, you, silent, I've heard quieter things in a jet engine testing facility. Amberlynn Reid has never encountered a personal struggle she didn't immediately package, title, and upload. We get to hear about her public breakdown. She cried in front of her doctor and her mother. Tissues were involved. This, we are told, is proof of her fragility. I call it theatrics on demand. I'm not denying she's unwell. Mentally, physically, spiritually, this woman is a dilapidated house with the lights flickering. But if your soul is truly shattered, the answer is probably not YouTube. Perhaps it's privacy, or better yet, therapy, not audience engagement analytics. She tells us that she was prescribed an SSRI, which is good, excellent. Medication, when monitored and taken seriously, can help. But do not, for one goddamn second, reframe this as another quirky Amberlynn journey like it's a new candle haul. This isn't a storyline. It's a warning. And the fact that she sandwiches it between vet updates and lab results glee is just grotesque. Speaking of the labs, she's elated to announce that she's not diabetic. Not even pre-diabetic. Pop the champagne, I suppose. But Amberlynn, my love, you have dodged the diagnosis, but not the damage. You don't need to qualify as diabetic to be profoundly and perilously unhealthy. That result doesn't make you a medical marvel. It just highlights how much farther there is to fall. And now her hypothyroidism, of course. Another culprit added to the ever-expanding rogues gallery of why Amberlynn Reid cannot lose weight. Menopause, Lymphedema, lipedema, hysterectomy, D-dimer, hormones, nerves, boobs, the weather, the vibes. What's shocking isn't the number of issues, it's the consistency with which none of them result in change. She's also starting multiple medications at once and bought a pill organizer on Amazon. That settles it. Health is restored, all is forgiven, a new age dawns. Amber, please. A pill case does not a recovery make. This isn't transformation. This is repackaged avoidance. It's just a tragic loop disguised as content. And the saddest part is that she truly believes that she's starting fresh again. No, Amberlynn, you are not beginning. You're just delaying the inevitable, one Amazon purchase at a time. We pivot seamlessly from a litany of medical conditions to the high art of meat mincing. Because nothing says my mental health is in shambles like a jaunty little saute session and a prebiotic beverage review. She's cooking again, which, as history has shown, is not so much an act of nourishment as it is a performance art for the damned. Today's menu is a bastardized spaghetti without the spaghetti, because carbs aren't the enemy, she assures us, while replacing them with French-style green beans. It's just a meal that's already apologising for itself. There's garlic salt, because apparently that's her personality. There's pepper. There's an onion destined to spend the rest of its life rotting in a bag next to her old trauma and unopened therapy referrals. She interrupts the cooking, because of course she does, to sample a drink. A pink can, a cherry on the label, 9 grams of fibre. Hold the SSRIs, Janice, we found salvation in plant juice. She gives it an 8 out of 10. Of course she does. And then, at last, the food is done. It's wet. It's just a bowl of wilted ambition. It's like soup, she says. No, darling, it's like regret. She praises it, of course. She moans, she slurps, she chews like she's attempting to traumatise the microphone. My dog has more restraint and better table manners when he's eating. And at least he has the decency not to narrate every bite. But wait, she's adding it to the meal plan. What meal plan? The one scrawled in disappearing ink across a Dollar Tree notepad and abandoned by Tuesday? Amberlynn does not meal prep. She mood cooks. She panic preps. She romanticises the act of eating like she's composing an opera. But the overture is always spoiled by reality, usually within 48 hours. But, oh goody, the medication montage continues. She has now become a girly pop on a pharmaceutical quest for inner peace. I would object to the infantilizing language, but frankly it suits her. She approaches adulthood like it's cosplay. She's taking a thyroid meds, her Zoloft, her vitamin D, and she wants a standing ovation for it, as though swallowing basic prescriptions makes her the Florence Nightingale of mental health. Taking prescribed medication is a normal adult's responsibility. It's not an achievement, it's not a personality, and it's not a video series. She announces her pill regimen with the smug sparkle of a girl who thinks she's just invented wellness. The pride in her voice as she says, "I took my first Zoloft," followed by a celebratory Chipotle order. She sounds like she's commemorating a graduation, not desperately trying to manage symptoms she's neglected for years. She insists that she has high hopes. Of course she does. Amberlynn Reid is nothing without the promise of a beginning. It's the follow-through that has always, without fail, crumbled into a heap of excuses. These aren't pills to her. They're props in her eternal one-woman theatre production called This Time It's Different. And then she says she's proud of herself. Proud to have gone from avoiding all medication to now taking 3. And darling, you didn't run a marathon. You swallowed what a medical professional told you to take after years of dodging it like it was cardio. Pride is earned. This is just bare minimum maintenance finally catching up with her. And the best bit, she thinks she's doing it because she cares about herself. Correction, she's doing it because she wants to be praised for pretending to care. If she truly cared, she wouldn't have weaponized her mental health for content, procrastinated through every red flag, or spent a decade sinking into a mess of self-inflicted illnesses and filming every tragic step. You want to feel better, Amberlynn? Good, but don't come waltzing in with your pill organizer like Joan of Arc on Zoloft. The battle hasn't even started. There's a brief interlude where she tells us that the What I Ate Today video didn't happen. Quelle surprise. Amberlynn once again proclaims she was not in it to win it. Darling, you've never been in it. She attributes her lack of energy to the Zoloft, because naturally we must chronicle every sensation her body has ever experienced in real time. If she blinked too hard, we'd get a 15-minute segment titled Why My Eye Twitched and How It's Society's Fault. But now she's monitoring her fatigue like a bingo witch doctor. If she gets tired during bingo, then it must be the Zoloft. Amberlynn, your bingo stamina is not a reliable medical metric. But then it's the logical progression from starting Zoloft to natural disasters? The Amberlynn Reid cinematic universe truly has no genre boundaries. Suddenly the street is flooding, hail is falling like God's judgment on sodium intake, tornadoes are ravaging the landscape, people are dying, and yet somehow, even in the eye of the storm, she is the focal point. She mumbles, "My heart goes out to you guys," and I physically recoiled. We know that heart is already too busy lugging around 600 pounds of denial and manipulative rhetoric to be genuinely burdened by human compassion. But this is what she does. A sprinkle of tragedy, a pinch of performative concern, and just enough weather to distract from the fact that she's once again failing to commit to her own promises. Then there's the pinnacle of intellectual engagement. In this brief but harrowing moment, she performs what I can only describe as a vaudeville routine. She makes air noises with her lips, while rhythmically jiggling her chest with the solemnity of a woman who thinks this is charming. It's not humorous, it's not whimsical, it's just what happens when delusion curdles. There is a special place in the inferno of internet irrelevance for creators who mistake cheap vulgarity for personality. It's not confidence, it's just theatre for the deeply unwell. And as a sensitive homosexual myself, one who has survived many things including terrible pride seasons in rural bars and the Cats film adaptation, I have to say this pushed me to the brink. This was obscene, and not in the fun way, in the I need to rinse my soul with rose water kind of way. I know I'm being a bit silly and dramatic, but you cannot simultaneously beg to be taken seriously while pantomiming your cleavage like a percussion instrument. Pick a lane, Amberlynn. Preferably one far away from the camera. We get another Zoloft update, because heaven forbid we go 10 minutes without hearing about the tablets that are allegedly going to solve a lifetime of chaos. She claims that she won't be giving us a play-by-play on the meds, while giving us a play-by-play. And then, like clockwork, she slides in that exit clause. If I stop talking about it, that doesn't mean I stop taking it. That subtle little parachute out of accountability. It's her favourite trick. Build hype, withhold the updates, and act offended if anyone asks. I just have to throw in that her hair is finally doing something here that doesn't make me want to revoke her mirror privileges. It doesn't actually look that bad. But it's undermined by the fact that she's just standing there faking this deep, solemn heartbreak for Justin Bieber. And even that becomes about her. This is what I grew up around. Of course it is. Because not even an international star's alleged addiction spiral is safe from her bottomless need to insert herself. We're not watching a woman share concern. We are watching a woman audition for a seat in someone else's problems. She says it breaks her heart. Please. The only thing this woman has ever broken is a chair, a promise, and the grammatical pacing of a sentence. Compassion from Amberlynn is always just a little too performative, a little too convenient, and always leading straight into some kind of plug, which brings us neatly to the Amazon haul. Because of course, what better way than to process your grief over a troubled star than with a haul? The tonal whiplash could crack a neck. This isn't content, it's just emotional whack-a-mole. She begins with vitamin D, which would be refreshing if she weren't saying it like she just discovered the concept of micronutrients. Amberlynn, you haven't unlocked the secrets of the universe. You're following basic doctor's orders and filming it for content. And then, oh joy, her tiny pill container. Perfect for when I'm not home, she says. Amberlynn, when are you not home? She acts like she's running a company and needs a mobile pharmacy for her whirlwind global tour. You go from the couch to bingo and back again. Let's not pretend you're jet-setting. Bless us all, she talks about her water filter journey because she's cutting down on plastic. How noble, how modern, how performative. Let's not forget, she has purchased enough plastic organisers, tubs and containers to personally strangle the Pacific Ocean. But wait, now she's concerned about how she'll track her water. The same woman who never successfully tracked a single calorie past Wednesday is now losing sleep over hydration metrics. So what's the solution? A thingamajigger with a straw that opens when you press a button. Hold your applause, please. We're in the presence of engineering brilliance. She attributes the recommendation to a friend. because heaven forbid she makes a decision that isn't pre-validated by someone else. It's always, my friend has one, or my mother recommended it. Amberlynn doesn't make her own decisions. She mimics. She shows off a mesh shirt with red hearts that looks like it came from a 2012 Hot Topic clearance bin, and then she moves on to her single glass bowl. Just one. She's discovered the culinary joy of leftovers, so she bought one soup vessel and dares to call it adulting. And finally, we arrive at the perfume. 2 bottles, because her life isn't already saturated with artificial sweetness and cloying aesthetic. Now it must be atomized and misted over every poor decision she makes. She sprays it into the air and gasps, "Ooh, that smells so good!" But I doubt it really does mask what actually lingers in that room. Regret, avoidance, and the scent of 1,000 abandoned goals. There's no Lego update this week, a true tragedy, but instead we get her usual tarot. She draws 3 cards: spiritual bath, love, and freedom. Charming, vague, market tested. The kind of message you'd get in a cookie and somehow still manage to misinterpret. She tells us that I need to be free of the burdens, the things in my life that are causing me unhappiness. Darling, you are the burden. This isn't some mystical call to release negative energy. She attempts to link spiritual bath with personal growth, of course. She speaks of believing in the universe as her own spiritual thing, which is Amberlynn code for I want comfort without accountability. It's astrology without the discipline, manifestation without the action, a bath bomb and a delusion. There's something heavy she needs to let go of, no pun intended, she whispers. Oh, how the irony practically leapt from the cards and smacked me in the face. And no, Amberlynn, your weight is not the heaviest thing about you. That would be your denial, closely followed by the emotional burden you've placed on everyone in your life. This isn't a glimpse into her soul. It's just a Hallmark card dipped in delusion, sealed with a smug bye and the sound of personal growth being smothered under another Amazon receipt. She doesn't want healing. She wants aesthetics that suggest she's trying. And that concludes another episode of Delusion dressed as development. We've cried, we've cooked, we've mispronounced medications, and summoned spiritual clarity from a deck that she probably bought alongside clip chips and perfume. Zoloft has been taken, water has been sipped, emotions have been manipulated, and through it all, she remains exactly where she always is. One breathless monologue away from change, and 10 excuses deep into staying the same.